not Phil Brooks, it's CM Punk. How many times do I have to repeat this to you? I'm sick of time. What the hell's that?
I don't know.
I think somebody's at the door. Hey.
You can't even film stuff without people knocking on the door.
Well, you know, that's the way of the world. Who is it?
But don't start personally insulting me.
Huh?
But don't start personally insulting me.
Hannibal! Oh, no, not that way! There it is!
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV, straight out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. So, on March 9th, 2022, the pro wrestling world lost Dan Marotti. The reason for his passing continues to be unknown presently. However, he left behind a legacy to many people and fans, and he will be missed tremendously. So, on March 9th, I received a message from a few people, and one being Tony Atlas, that Dan Marotti passed away. Everybody's well aware of the issues we had with Dan Marotti. Mm-hmm. But I could tell, and I'll let you speak to it, is that, when someone dies at such a young age, it's not a good thing.
No.
It's not a good thing.
No.
But I thought how before we had a couple of days to think about how we were going to present this on the show, and I want to make sure that everybody's clear that I was not a fan of Dan. Mm-hmm. For some things that went on.
Absolutely. Understood.
But did I hate him? No, I didn't hate him.
No.
Did I consider him a friend? Absolutely not. But one thing I do recognize is that there were a lot of fans out there and people who had a tough go the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And Dan supplied programming to people and help the people in need, right? A lot of people were stuck at home. And, he helped a lot of people. So who am I to say anything beyond that is, he I only knew him for what I knew him for.
Right.
That doesn't mean I knew him.
Right.
So
sure.
He could have been a good guy.
Sure. And to some, of course, he was. I was actually pretty shocked. I mean, and at first, it's weird too, because some people were asking me, "Is this real or is this a work? Do you believe this business? That would even come up?" But I was actually asked that, and I was like, "I'm sorry, but that's a little bit beyond the realms of is this a work?" But I mean, I understood because of the crazy wrestling business that you always wonder, is anything a work or a shoot? I felt at the time shocked. Again, I agree with you. I didn't know him. Oddly enough, the first I was aware of him was just when I heard he was throwing F-bombs at us. And that got me very angry, as it should. I'm like, who's this guy? But look, at the end of the day, 42 is way too young. He had family. Yep. He had friends who loved him. And to a lot of people, he was very entertaining and they enjoyed him. Rest in peace. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. And that's basically it. I mean, I was not a fan of the channel. but that doesn't really matter, at this given moment, one way or the other, we all loved wrestling, so there is something in common at the end of the day, and I just hope his family does well and can get through it, and way too young. That's my take.
And again, you could see
Way too young.
I tuned into one of the shows after
No
his
good.
passing, and you could see many fans were distraught over the situation.
course.
In many cases, he was family to a lot of people.
Sure.
And
I mean, just like we have our family, he had his.
I'll
he had his wrestling family.
I'll read some comments,
You
but
know?
I did want to share something.
sure he worked
and
hard to get
I
that
think,
family,
I
too,
think it's
so.
important that now that I tell the story a little bit,
Man,
Tony
so bizarre.
and Dan had issues. We don't have to get into that
Yeah.
whole situation.
Yeah, everybody kind of knows.
But
what
I
went
will tell you that Tony shared with me many times, and I think this is important for everybody to know because this is why life is too short, right? Mm-hmm. Dan was reaching out to Tony quite often,
Right.
and trying to reconcile
Right.
the situation.
Right.
I think at some points maybe Dan realized that he was out of line with what went on in certain situations, and maybe tried to
could be.
reconcile.
Sure.
But if this isn't a message to everybody out there, it's like life's too short, right?
Right.
It's life's too short for hatred.
Way
and
too short.
and,
Way too short.
There's joking, and we're all about having fun.
Of
and you
course.
got it, but it's just.
Which is honestly what I felt we were doing when we were going back and forth with him, and I
think part of him-
I think he enjoyed it too.
Absolutely,
Quite honestly.
absolutely, and I think the fans enjoyed it
Yeah,
also.
we were
right?
we were all having a ball, tossing turnbuckles at each other. But I mean,
But, I'm going to
Hey.
read a few comments.
Oh,
Davio
boy.
says, Monte and the Pharaoh, I just want to say it was honorable of you guys giving a 10-bell salute to Dan. Joker says, Dan was passionate to the core about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
His death leaves a massive void in the community, and he'll be deeply missed. So that's something we
he's
should recognize.
identified with Boston.
Well-
I mean, he was obviously a fixture over in that area. Obviously,
We should recognize the fact that, and I'll say this, he was a major player in the world of pro wrestling.
yeah.
if
in the
you-
in the YouTube universe, I agree with that.
I would even go further past maybe the YouTube.
Well, the
universe.
MWF, et cetera, et
Yeah,
cetera.
sure.
He did some things, and hey, he wasn't just out there, thinking about doing them. He went and tried to do them. I give him a lot of credit for that.
Charles Wilson says, I was privy to some conversations about sunglasses at night.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Eric says, amen, gentlemen, super classy. Lou says, Dan loved pro wrestling and that we all can respect. I feel sorry for his family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got goosebumps, man. I'm not. This shouldn't have even happened. I'm still like, how? Have they cleared up how he passed away, or is this still somewhat in the air? Because the first thing I read was he died in a car crash. Now, we
Right.
know he was in a car crash years ago with the Sheik. Then the next day, I saw that he passed away in the shower. And I was like, does anybody really know the definitive reason? I mean, have you found anything out at this point, or is it still up in the air as far as what happened to him?
From what I read, he was at his father's house and he passed away in the shower. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not
All
gonna
right, yeah.
try to guess
Right.
what happened.
Right. Right.
Charles Wilson says Dan had a channel of 25,000 subscribers, and it lasted well over 10 years.
There you go.
He spent a lot of time and effort into his channel. Absolutely.
No doubt.
And you know what? I kind of,
No doubt.
I think about Dan, and I think, this is what his life was. Again, I didn't know the guy, but from what I understand, and I call him Dan respectfully instead of Marathi.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
I think that he had his injury in his car accident, and this
Apparently it was pretty
channel
bad,
and his
yeah.
fans were all he had.
Right.
And I think he became very, very protective.
Who wouldn't be? Right?
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't be? We've worked very hard in the last 5 years to do what we're
Well,
doing. I can relate.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna reiterate though. I want to bring it to a point.
Sure.
Is I spoke to Dan one time,
I remember.
right? One time,
I remember.
and
He didn't know I was there, but
I could just say that
I kind of walked in on it, but yeah.
I did. I want to. Again, I don't want to come on here. It's very hard to sit here and bust on each other for a year, and then
And then
because
this
someone
happens.
passes,
Right.
and then say,
This
hey,
was
I love this guy. Oh,
Right.
it was a joke.
Yeah,
we didn't like each other.
We got to stay real here.
We didn't
Right.
like each other, and
Right.
that's okay. That's
You're just
okay.
you're just being truthful. That's
Right.
all. You're being real.
That's okay.
You know.
But I will tell you, I know you were.
Yeah.
You were very saddened over this.
I was pretty jolted, especially when I found out he was 42, because not for nothing, I thought he was our age. Maybe
Right.
because it was the facial hair or whatever. There was something about him that I figured he's our age. But he's 42. Sorry, folks, but to these two old guys, that's almost a baby at this point.
Yeah, that's for sure. Al Snow wrote
Way
on
too young.
Al Snow wrote on YouTube. I heard the sad news and the loss of my friend Dan Marotti. You will truly be missed. You are one of a kind. I will always be in your debt for introducing me to Quincy. My sincerest, heartfelt condolences to all of Dan's families and friends.
May you truly rest in peace.
Another gentleman
Very
wrote,
classy, Mr. Snow.
very sad in the learning the passing of Dan Marotti Fragilio.
cannot pronounce it.
Well,
I'm
I
not
will
gonna
tell you
even
this,
try to
though.
pronounce that
That
last name.
shocked me.
Fragillo?
I had no
Maybe?
idea that Marotti was a pseudo name.
What am I going to say? I'm the Pharaoh.
I know,
Hey,
but
what am I going to say?
Right,
But
right.
that's cool. I mean, Dan Marotti sounds like rolls off the tongue better than I can't even Frangillo. I'm assuming.
Maria Davis shared this with me. The first thing when I heard about Dan passing, the first guy that came to my mind was John Cena Sr.
Okay,
And
that makes sense.
Maria Davis was kind enough to send this to me, and I'll just read
Oh, wow.
John's writings.
Quite the letter.
And again, if everybody's heard this before, I just think it's important, right? We recognize the passing of, a big-time figure in pro wrestling, right? This is a hard one for me. I got a call this morning that Dan Marotti passed away. He was more than just a friend to me. He was like another brother. For over 15 years, we've been working together on Boston Wrestling, MWF. He brought me on board back in 2007, and ever since then, we've been working together. I've gained so much knowledge about the sport of professional wrestling from him, and just so much more. We did everything wrestling together and more. This one just hurts. He created a name that would stick with me forever, and how everyone knew me as Little Cena. He never called me by my actual name, not once. He was a great guy to anyone that truly knew him, and he would do anything for anyone. He worked day and night to bring the best content available for all the fans of Boston wrestling. He will be missed. I miss you, buddy. I'll see you on the other side. Little Senior.
We've talked about it in the past, Mike, that, as far as attaining success, and I've always loved that you've said this to me, if we even make one person smile, we've done our job. Well done, Dan Marotti. You definitely did your job. That's facts.
Well done, Farrell.
Yeah.
Well said.
Rest in peace.
All right, wrestling news, everybody. CM Punk takes a shot at Goldberg. CM Punk apologizes. So he takes a shot at Goldberg.
You sure he wasn't taking a shot at Ryback and got it confused with Goldberg's picture?
No, so after, I guess, the last pay-per-view,
Yeah.
he was
Phil's mad, huh?
Phil was angry.
Yeah, Phil's angry a
And
lot.
He was defending.
Yeah.
He was talking about how much he loves professional wrestling.
Oh, well,
brought
no
him
one
to-
loves it like that man.
Right, and brought it to
Right.
tears.
2 tears.
And how unfortunate for like a guy like Bret Hart who lived for it.
Right.
It was taken away from a guy who now makes millions of dollars in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So I want you to hear this part of it too, though, and then you
Yeah.
need to weigh in.
Oh, boy.
This week on social media, CM Punk, if everybody was watching that pay-per-view, which I didn't,
Okay.
but I didn't heard about it, he came out to his Ring of Honor
Yes.
theme song.
Yes.
So a fan out there on
And gear,
Twitter,
I think.
right? Because
Yeah.
people are talking about it, right? And some people, listen, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a wrestling historian or
No.
to any means.
It
And
doesn't mean you don't love professional wrestling less than the next guy. You've been watching for decades.
so some people don't know the history of CM Punk for
sure.
Ring of Honor.
Absolutely. I
So-
agree. I happen to, but I am a total nerd.
So a fan The fan didn't see this one coming, as they had been aware that they had not been aware about his entire career.
Right.
After a fan asked what happened, right?
Somebody
Because he
said
sees them
something
talking,
about like not recognizing what was going on.
Punk rudely pops on Twitter and says, "You're missing a deep understanding to storytelling. Get a brain."
Get a brain.
And then he later on tweeted it.
He deleted
it.
Okay.
And then he wrote, "I'm sorry if I was snarky to a guy who was being shit on by other people on his replies. None of this is important. Let's hug and drink a Shirley Temple."
Well, it's not going to be a beer because he's straight edge.
Right.
Right.
So, want to weigh in on that or what?
Yeah, well, just because some wrestling fans don't know CM Punk's entire history doesn't mean that they're any less of a wrestling fan than someone who buys, what was the name of that doll? Alexa Bliss's.
Sure. Right.
Come on, there's different types of fans and stuff. Punk sometimes needs to calm down. Let's all hug and drink Shirley Temples. Does that take away from what he wrote to the guy? If I was that guy, I would have been like, what the hell are you attacking me for? Because I don't know about your history in Ring of Honor? I mean, Ring of Honor is for the really passionate,
the hardest of the hardcore fans.
Hardest of the hardcore fans. I watched Punk back in those days, but I know that I was like 1 out of 50. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody else was watching WWE or whatever,
Would it
or
be
even
fair,
TNA.
Would it be fair for me to say that Ring of Honor is for the new generation of fans who probably didn't have enough money to go to a WWE event or a WCW event?
It's possible.
And for $10, they got to see great guys like Daniel Bryan and all these other guys,
you remember
right?
the time we went to the Firehouse and Evolve was there?
Yeah.
We paid like nothing to see those
Sure.
guys, and we saw a killer show. So it's like, as far as the Evolve portion.
Right.
Not the stuff that happened with Cooter and
Right.
stuff before.
Gotcha. Right.
That clown.
802, member for 11 months. Thank you, sir. It's our honor.
Thank
B40
you,
says
802.
something
You're the
really
best,
good.
802.
B40 says, CM Punk's midlife crisis playing out live every week.
Yeah, it seems like he's always complaining about, and it's always shots at Vince. It's like, listen, I'm kind of somber because of the recent news that we just previously covered. But look, CM Punk needs to shut up. Stop it already, okay? Most of us know you from your WWE career. Most of the money you've made in your wrestling career came from Vince McMahon's paychecks. Okay, you're angry. Okay, fine. You're bitter. Okay, fine. You're world famous because of the time that you spent with Vince McMahon's company. Stop it already. All it sounds like is sour grapes to me. Honestly, stop complaining. You're lucky you even have what you have right now. You're lucky that guys, Mr. Big Shot, CM Punk, he's so ballsy with his straight edge truths. The truth is, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks are the reason why CM Punk can go to another company now and run his mouth. And by the way, where's Cody going? Cody's going where he knows where he truly belongs in the end of the day. I'm sorry if that upsets some of you, but his father worked for Vince too for decades. He's going home, all right? And if Punk wasn't so bitter, he'd realize that the greatest things or the most impressive things that people even know him for come from WWE. So be a little more
CM Punk reminds me
middle
of
of the road with
that
your
was,
comments. He's always angry.
He reminds me of the bride that was left at the altar.
That's fair. I can see that.
The girl that was dropped.
But don't
at the
say that
prom.
because a FedEx envelope came on the day that he was getting the bride at the. know how he got the notice on his wedding day.
That's according to him, though.
Yeah,
let's not forget that. That's
Vince
his story.
No.
But that's his story, though.
I don't know
right?
if I buy
you don't know how true half
Yeah,
these stories
that's
are.
true too.
Anyway, if anyone didn't know it, that is the start of the show. Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh, Jimmy, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall.
Hurt me.
Our own Jimmy.
That was rough.
They sing
I was going to ask Matt to do it for me. I'm just not, feeling
Not
too,
feeling it. All right.
Yeah.
They make up such songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page here on Spotify. Get them on Apple Music or Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh YouTube page, the Monte The Pharaoh Facebook Live page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, or where all audio channels are found.
That's right.
Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh Twitch TV page, and if you're in New York, catch us on 1:15 every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturday at 11:30 p.m., where you'll catch last week's marathon coming up.
Did I tell you what it was like going home that night?
No, fill me in.
Well, you know, as the audience probably knows all too well, we had 5 bottles of wine, and according to you, I drank 4 of them, which you might be right, you know?
Right.
So I get home after the show, after the marathon with the 5 shows and the 5 bottles, and apparently I must have blacked out, and I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and I'm still spinning. So I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did I manage to go to sleep spinning? People, you can't fall asleep when you're spinning. You know, I mean, how many of us have gone through this? You drink too much, you go lay down, the whole room is spinning. This is usually when I get up and walk for like 2 hours to make it stop. And it always works. Just go walking, walk for 2 hours. Somehow I blacked out, got up at 2:30, and the room is still spinning, 2.5. I'm amazed by it. That was some good fucking wine. No wonder they were our sponsors. Yeah, that worked. And a bottle of Advil the next day, but...
All right, we'll be right back after this commercial break with Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast and what we call, get my act together.
It's unresolved
differences.
Yeah, unresolved differences.
Hello.
We'll see you in a second after we resolve our differences. We don't have any differences.
Not right now.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack. Elm Logistics for all your logistic needs. Call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you. Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. Last night, Chris Jericho turns heel, launches the new AEW faction. Thoughts?
Mad.
Why?
Because he let Eddie Kingston beat him. I have a problem. I have a huge problem with that. I was actually breaking shit in the house.
Were you that
How
angry?
dare you put over Eddie Kingston in that fashion?
We spoke about
You
that.
are Chris Jericho. What is going on?
If you didn't
here?
put him over, you might as well just get rid of him.
Really? That's what that's
Greg
why
R says, "Oh, drunk Pharaohs must see TV."
he might have a point. He might have a point, but at what cost, though? Oy. I know the aspirin companies will make out big time.
Chris Steve says, "I hope you guys could keep the Marty party going." I spoke to Mr. Genetti.
How's he doing?
How
is Marty Jannetty?
He had found out about Dan, I guess, and he had called me and said what happened, and I
Right.
just told him what I thought I knew. 'cause
Marty
I didn't
sound
know
good?
him. Marty sounded fantastic.
Is he in the hospital
He's
currently?
still in the hospital.
He's
He was
been there
supposed
for
to
a while.
He was supposed to be released, but boy, did
right.
he sound fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God.
Love Marty.
So, speaking about Eddie Kingston,
yeah.
during his little rant back and forth with Jericho, the what chants started coming. And
What?
Kingston,
Yeah.
you could tell, was thrown off his game.
Right, because he
couldn't
just
handle it.
memorizes his stuff and waits for his timing at the exact time. You throw him off, he's going to get distracted.
So you're just not into Kingston.
I'm not into Kingston at all, and it's oddly enough. I love Kevin Owens, though. You know, like you always said that Kevin Owens looks like the mailman. I feel like Kevin Owens doesn't look like the mailman because of the total package that he brings. There's something about Eddie Kingston. I'm sorry. You know, I mean, he's good on the mic, et cetera, but he should not be. Chris Jericho submitted. Chris, one more time. Chris Jericho, Y2J, the Ayatollah of rock and roller, put over Eddie Kingston by submitting? Fuck that. Fuck channel click. Fuck that. What is that? Now I'm getting pissed. Got any wine? That was bullshit. What did you think about that decision?
It was the right decision.
Oh, come on. Why are you
If you're
doing
gonna
this?
keep him-
You're doing this because I just said it was a joke.
I'm being.
I mean, if you're going to keep, obviously, if you don't do this, then he's got to just
He's
get
done because
right.
he's lost a
Okay,
Punk.
would Mike Monty have even booked him into this position?
No, I would not have.
Okay, I feel better now.
I feel
All right. All right.
I feel like Eddie Kingston gets too much credit for very scripted mic work. Okay, and
Yeah.
look, it's all scripted. I
Yeah.
get it, but
And
he's
isn't that-
clearly scripted.
And isn't that funny, too? I thought that's the wrestling company.
Right.
AEW. Oh, by the way, I know that recently they had Christopher Daniels on. I'd rather watch Christopher Daniels all day long. The Fallen Angel. He doesn't even have to say a word. I'd rather watch him than Eddie Kingston.
The problem
What do I know?
The problem
You know?
I got with Kingston really
Yeah.
is that he doesn't know how to give and take.
Right.
He constantly, we said it last week, I
Right.
think, he keeps on trying to get his lines in.
Right.
And he's not even listening to his opponent. You know what I mean?
I tend to agree with that, but I'm not sure all fans see that or even look for it. Maybe they should try that sometime.
Joker says Chris Jericho's swerve on Kingston last night was one of the best things I've seen in ages.
Well, thank God, because he's got to get it back now. He's got to
Jericho's
get it back.
Appreciation Society is open for business.
Jericho Appreciation Society. That's pretty funny. What do you think of that name?
Terrible.
I think it's pretty bad, too.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? You know?
Danny Jimenez says, so grateful for Dan. Responded to my message on his last 5 shows. There's already a huge void now that you're gone. Rip Dan Marotti. Loose Cannon, Moxley's Wild Thing entrance gets heat with me. It really does. Moxley gets heat with me, period, because I just can't stand the guy. So, I mean.
How come, why, I'm just curious, why does the theme itself get heat with him? I'm just curious.
Wild Thing?
Yeah, Wild Thing.
That is the worst entrance song. You know what
Okay.
that's for?
No, I'm just curious.
Major League. That's what I identify it with.
That's hilarious.
But that's what I identify.
That's
it with.
interesting because-
Like, why would you choose Wild Thing for Moxley?
What version is it, by the way? There's been multiple
original,
versions
I
of
believe.
this song.
Like,
well,
no,
it's
the
not.
Major
I don't
League
think it's
one,
the
the
Trogs or
girls.
whatever.
No, it's
they,
not the Trogs.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's,
Okay.
I think it's the girls.
I mean,
who sang
honestly,
it.
the best version is Hendrix at Monterey Pop, but let's not get into that. The Wild Thing. What do you think would have been good for him?
How about be smart? How about smart? Be smart. Write your own music. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
He'll be back, by the way. The Shield will reunite.
I believe you.
The
I
Shield
agree.
will reunite.
Monday
man.
Night Raw did a 1.77, seeing probably one of the best Raw matches I've seen in a very long time.
Okay.
The triple threat match between the Alpha Academy, RKO Bro, and Rollins and Owens, which you get
With the happy ending.
the happy ending. But did you catch that RKO, which everybody probably did?
Yeah.
That was probably
Is that like the greatest move ever, by the way, the RKO?
dude. But the way he caught.
It's like the greatest move ever. And you could do it so many different
If
ways.
that doesn't just cement,
How many
prove
different
the
ways is
point
he?
that Randy Orton is one of
He's
the all-time
he's
greats.
so one of the all-time great. He's in the penthouse.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
I guess we're going to have to.
We're gonna talk about
he's
that
He's in
later.
the penthouse.
By the way, Dynamite last night did not make $1 million.
Okay.
So there you go.
You know, there's probably those 50 or 1,000 or so plus that were like me with the Eddie Kingston thing. Like, screw that. That's terrible.
All right, so guys,
You know?
Farrell and I were talking yesterday, and we were just rapping, and you heard Farrell mention the penthouse.
Right.
And the way the conversation started is
Who's in the penthouse?
it's clear I have a disdain for Phil Brooks.
Yes, you do.
Always have.
Yes, you
I
have.
recognize his talent. I recognize
Kind
his
of.
greatness.
Kind of.
Kind of. But the discussion was, look, we have the Hall of Fame, and everybody's got their favorites, and we could say some of the greatest. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you could turn around to me and say, Jesse Ventura, who I love.
Sure.
Right? One of the all-time greats. Bob
Sure.
Backlund, one of the all-time greats.
Sure.
But the discussion between me and Farrell, and I think this is interesting for everybody, I want everybody to weigh in, is there's greatness, there's B
different-
levels, there's
right.
C levels.
There's different
right?
levels of greatness.
But there's the
Right.
penthouse.
Right.
The penthouse is for the special few. It's not the Hall of Fame.
That's the problem here. The special few.
Right.
Right? Underline and circle that, though.
Gotcha.
Before we go into this.
I'm going to name a few. I'm going to call it low-hanging fruit,
Okay.
and you tell me if you agree.
Low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit.
All right.
Hulk Hogan. Penthouse or not?
My God, he built the penthouse. Of course he's in the penthouse.
Okay. Easy, right?
Very easy. Hulk Hogan? Yeah.
Ric Flair.
Penthouse. My God. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Bruno Sammartino.
Penthouse. Bruno Sammartino's in the Penthouse. During the 70s, he was to wrestling what Hogan and Flair were later. Penthouse.
Andre the Giant.
Penthouse. He's the needle on the Empire State Building. He's above the Penthouse.
So there's a lot of low-hanging. This
yeah.
is why I call low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, this is rough, by the way, because now it's going to start getting interesting.
This is where it starts to get interesting.
No, not yet.
Undertaker.
That's a Penthouse. It's not interesting yet.
Lock and load. Done.
Yep, Undertaker. Absolutely.
Okay.
Now it gets a little tougher.
Here we go.
Wow. I'm actually upset with myself that I even brought this up because this is rough, this subject.
I want people to weigh in too.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar.
I believe he's in the Penthouse for this generation. Understand that each generation has certain greats that exist in the main event picture or champions or are constantly a draw. If Brock Lesnar does not qualify over the last 10 years since he came back in 2012 or so when he came back, and even, the early first phase of his career, Brock Lesnar's in the Penthouse.
I'm going to nail it.
I understand he's not Hogan, though. You see, this is where it gets difficult.
But before we continue on the list, I want to finish some low-hanging fruit real quick before we go on to the harder guys.
Right.
Stone Cold and The Rock.
Absolutely, in the Penthouse.
In the Penthouse.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Right.
All right, here's where it gets tough. Dusty Rhodes.
I believe he's in the Penthouse.
Why?
Dusty Rhodes was basically the NWA face, the face for at least a decade, if not longer. Dusty Rhodes was... You know how Hogan was like the cornerstone of the WrestleManias? Dusty Rhodes is the cornerstone along with his Joker, Harley Race of Starrcade. They built it, right. Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race. So yes, even though we're East Coast and raised on Vince McMahon, I think Dusty Rhodes is Penthouse in my opinion.
All right.
But again, if you start looking at a guy like Hogan or Flair, everyone else is like, they're in the room, but the drinks are being served first to Hogan and Flair, if that makes any sense.
Harley Race?
I believe he's in the Penthouse, but I don't think that you'll put him there. I'm not sure. By the way, you're not
Right now, I have no argument with you.
You okay with Lesnar and Dusty Rhodes?
Of course.
I believe Harley Race is. He was the face of Starrcade along with, Starrcade's not built with Harley Race versus Dusty Rhodes.
That's fine.
I believe he's in.
So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's starting now.
It's starting to get a little murky, right? When you're talking Hulk Hogan and Harley Race, yeah, it's starting to get a little. And this is more impact, popularity on the business, everything. That's why this is a little, as an in-ring wrestler with the resume, Harley Race is right there with everybody.
Vern Gagne.
I believe he deserves to be in the Penthouse. He was look, no AWA without Vern Gagne. He was champion on and off for 30 years. True, it was his own booking, but look, facts are facts. Vern Gagne owned up north, owned the Minnesotas and all the other states and everything like that.
Quick low-hanging fruit again?
Yeah.
Roddy Piper.
I believe he's in the Penthouse.
Easy, right?
Yeah, I believe he's in the Penthouse.
This is a tough one. Jerry the King Lawler.
I'm going to go on a limb and say he deserves to be in the Penthouse for several reasons. Number one, to me, even though... Bockwinkel and Vern Gagne were like, the ones who held the belts the most and stuff like that. Jerry the King Lawler was so responsible for so many different things, not just the Kaufman thing that helped put wrestling, it basically opened the door for WrestleMania when you think about it. And we all know Vince McMahon wanted that angle. So Jerry Lawler, to me, has done so many different things, multiple-time champion and stuff like that. I believe...
B40 says Hogan's the building the Penthouse is in.
I
argue that one.
I will not argue with that at all.
Greg R. is saying Terry Funk.
Boy, oh boy. How can you not let Terry Funk in? I know that this is where it's getting murky, right? I mean, you got I believe personally that Terry Funk did enough. I do. I mean, world champion and for quite a while, too, when being a world champion really counted. And we all know what he did with Extreme Wrestling. You see how everybody copies the great Terry Funk. I mean, would there be no Mick Foley, I believe, without Terry
Lawler's
Funk?
In.
Yeah, this is rough, man.
Funk has got his foot through the door.
I think he does.
All right. How about Shawn Michaels?
Oh, come on. Absolutely. Mr. WrestleMania? Yeah. Shawn's in.
A lot of people
Are you
in
letting
the
Diesel?
right now.
Are you letting Kevin Nash in?
No.
Even with the impact of the NWO? Because I'll tell you right now, with the names we've listed, Scott Hall ain't getting in either.
No. Absolutely not.
Not with these names that we've listed.
Listen, it's already starting to
You
get
know?
murky now because
Yeah.
it's becoming
So I'm
less
gonna say-
special, but it's hard to argue your points.
I don't know if it's less special having Vern Gagne and
All
Harley
right.
Racing there.
Triple H.
No.
Wow.
No. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
The game.
I think Terry Funk is more important.
He put Terry Funk's in.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that is rough.
game.
Do you think yeah, this is tough. Am I being too tough on
No,
the
no,
great,
no.
great Triple H?
No, you're not.
All right. Maybe I'm just getting back at him for fucking over Phil.
So
Maybe that's what that is.
Triple H, he's knocking on the door, and we're not letting him
Man,
in.
this is rough, man.
right.
That one hurts.
Here's a good one. B40 says Don Morocco.
We can't. Not with the names we just
No.
listed. We can't.
All right, here's
And
one.
that's painful.
Here's one that you
Greg
wanted
Valentine.
in our conversation.
It's painful.
Here's one that you wanted to let in the
Yeah, I
door.
wanted. No, I didn't say that.
You
we
thought about
were
it.
debating back and
Tommy
forth.
Wildfire
I cannot
Rich.
Put him, I can't. If I'm not putting Triple H in, I'm not putting Tommy Rich in. I'm not doing it. I can't. Triple H's resume blows away Tommy Rich's. You know what? I might have to put Triple H in. Think about all the things he did. Plus his NXT.
Door's already been shut.
DX. Oh, really?
He's
We
not
just
allowed
said,
in.
Break it down. He just kicked in the door with a sledgehammer.
Chris Jericho.
Oh, I'm putting him in. I'm putting him in. Chris Jericho's in the penthouse. Come on, man. He's in the penthouse.
Chris Jericho.
didn't he do?
Is in the penthouse.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
but
fair.
Here we go. Here it comes.
CM Punk.
You vote first.
No.
I say
Nope.
yes.
No way.
I say yes.
Can I tell you why I say no?
You sure can.
All right.
Absolutely.
CM Punk was about the hottest wrestler for 1 year. 1 year
Longer.
that the WWE put it on him.
Longer. But okay.
This is a man who never main evented a WrestleMania.
That's not his fault.
If a company clearly doesn't think you're
They didn't
big
like
enough,
him because he whined too much.
I
and
understand.
and I can agree
I
with that
get
too.
it,
I see
but
that.
my point is that they didn't feel strongly enough for him to main event a WrestleMania. They chose to bring The Rock back to wrestle Cena.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
CM Punk
Which was
left,
the right move, by the way.
right.
Yeah.
CM Punk left the sport for a long time.
Yeah, he sure did.
Can CM Punk get in the penthouse? Yes.
But
he has to make his mark in AEW, and I'm not talking the 1 year he's been here.
No,
okay?
no.
He has not.
It's not that impressive.
He's not been. And
No.
again, when you look at it's a different time,
It's not.
but when you look at the ratings,
Yeah.
he is not a needle mover.
Not now. Not the way he was, 10, 11, 12 years ago.
So
No.
I say no. What do you say, Pharaoh?
I say yes, but the reasons I say yes is because of what he did in that short time you're referring to. The ratings after Stone Cold walked away dipped and then dipped some more. And then when CM Punk was allowed to do the pipe bomb, which Vince was aware of, ratings went back up to numbers that they had not seen in a very, very, very long time. So he brought back a lot of interest. And as I've told you before, he brought me back. I was actually getting very disillusioned with pro wrestling, and I saw him do that, and I was hooked. I feel like CM Punk is...
but he doesn't have you hooked now.
No.
He doesn't have you
because
hooked
he
now.
left me and went away for 7 years and came back with the build of a tennis instructor. So no.
So
You
then he's
know?
not in.
I mean, to me, he's in from his past contributions. I cannot sneeze being a nerd. I can't sneeze at the longest reign in 25 years. I can't. I loved his title reign.
This is your show. So if
this
you
is
say
your
he's
show.
in,
What
if
do
you
you-
say
this
he's
is our
in,
show.
he's in.
All right.
All right.
Are we not going to let Triple H in? Oh,
You
boy,
said no.
Triple H is
Too late.
Pissed.
Before we get to the next group, I want to name a few people are mentioning, and I want a quick answer on them, okay?
Okay.
Not a long thought on it.
All right. Fair enough. What do you got?
802 says Triple H has to be in. Tony Smith
yeah,
is
I'm
asking
struggling with that
New
802.
Jack.
Oh, my God. It's
gotta be quick.
We can't put it. We can't.
No.
We can't.
No.
We
No.
can't.
No.
God, do I love New Jack.
Is New
but we
Jack
can't.
great? Yes.
Yes.
But he's not in the
But
penthouse.
listen to these names that are in. We can't put him in. We can't put him in with Hogan and Flair.
Lou Thez.
Luthez deserves to be in the penthouse. Absolutely.
I'll let him in.
I cannot argue with
Stan
Luthez.
Hansen.
God, I wish, but no.
No.
God,
Antonio
I wish.
Inoki.
He's got to be from Japan. For the Japan, that is the Bruno Sammartino of Japan. He has to be. And I actually respect...
Bruiser Brody.
No.
Okay.
I have a tragic death, but
Wahoo
no.
McDaniel.
No. And this hurts, by the way. By the way,
This one's a tough one for me. The Von Erichs, are they invited?
I don't know. Not with the names we've been mentioning, no.
Kerry, Kevin,
I thought David was the greatest of them all.
David.
I know. You want to put the whole family in? Then fine. Are they going in as the family? Because the Freebirds go in as the Freebirds.
Here's a
You
tough
understand
one.
what I just said?
No, I got you.
I mean, the Von Erich family? Yeah.
No,
If
it's
you
not a
want, but
family.
I can't see that though. I mean, you cannot say Kerry Von Erich is on the same level or impact as Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and Dusty Rhodes. It's not realistic.
Superfly, Jimmy Snuka.
Oh God, I'm putting him in the penthouse. Why?
No.
I
no.
want to. Tell me why.
Because he's not on that list. He's not penthouse material.
Okay.
You can't.
All right, I'm not going to do it then.
Oh boy.
But it wasn't even a little painful
No.
for you. Well,
No.
Roddy never had a ton of belts. and
Roddy
neither did Jimmy.
was Roddy.
I know, Roddy was unbelievable. But so was Jimmy.
All right, here's some.
I'm not putting Jimmy in.
Edge,
No.
Bret Hart.
Yes. Bret Hart's in the penthouse.
Fair enough. Sting,
Yes. He is the face of WCW.
Macho Man Randy
Yes.
Savage.
Macho Man's in the penthouse. Yes. Ultimate Warrior. He's in the penthouse whether you like him or hate him. Sorry. And that's why guys like CM Punk to me are in.
Ultimate
when
Warrior.
you're on top of your game at that effing level, the way Warrior was for those couple of years with Hogan, or the way Punk was back in the, come on, man.
Maria Davis, Brian Pillman.
Oh, God, I love Brian Pillman, but I'm not doing it. I can't put. I'm so sorry, Maria. I'm with you. I love Brian
How
Pillman.
about the Road Warriors?
Absolutely. My God. Absolutely. How about Demolition? We had this conversation. What say you to my favorite and your favorite
I
tag
was a
team of
huge
all
Demolition
time?
guy, but as I've gotten older and I'm in the
Okay.
business a little longer,
Okay.
Road Warriors have bypassed
Oh,
Demolition.
by a mile as far
But
as
they're
what
in.
the yeah. Oh, so Demolition's in the penthouse. All right, I
Absolutely.
feel better about that. Okay.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
This is right there with Snuka. Do you understand what I'm saying as far as what I'm struggling with here?
Right.
I mean, you make that call. I
802 says Triple H has to be in if the Warrior is in.
Triple H
How
has
can
to be in.
So that's a good question. How
Interesting.
could we close the door on Triple H, but you put the
I
Warrior
didn't.
in?
I'm actually letting Triple H in, but Mike says the door is closed. You want to let Triple H in? Let's
Can't.
open the door. No,
Lex
can you open the door
Luger.
a little bit. No,
Close.
he's very close.
Rock and roll.
Wait, hold on. If Luger's not, if Jimmy Snuka and Jake the Snake are not getting in, I'm not letting Luger in.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, those two guys had more of an impact in their prime, and were higher up on the ratings and attention span than Luger, Jake the Snake and Superfly. Yeah, I can't do it. Can't do it. Goldberg.
Goldberg's in the penthouse.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's been proving it over and over and over again, whether people like it or
Goldberg
not.
is in the penthouse.
He was the biggest star in WCW outside of the NWO. What do
Rick Rude,
God, I would love to, but I can't.
Playboy Buddy Rose,
No.
Scott Steiner from Don the Barber's thrown in.
I
Scott Steiner.
love Scott Steiner, but no. The Steiner brothers.
How about this one?
the
This
Steiner
is
brothers?
no. Rock and
I
Roll
don't
Express.
know, man. I think the Steiner brothers would get in with
Rock
me.
and Roll Express.
Yeah, I think they should as a tag team.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Rock
no,
and Roll Express.
No.
Gibson
No.
and Ricky?
No.
No?
Here's why, folks.
Well, wait a
The
minute.
Rock
though.
and
These are
Roll
one of the
Ex-
5 greatest tag teams ever, probably.
The
if
Rock
you really
and
want to
Roll.
get technical here.
What makes greatness is you go from one area to another, and your greatness translates. The
what
Rock
about-
and Roll
well, some
Express
people
did
on
not
this-
translate.
But some people on this list didn't do that, like
Like who?
Luthez and Vern Gagne.
Wait, the different time. Right?
I understand
Different?
that.
That's
I understand.
kind of tougher.
I got you. But I do consider the Rock
How
and
about
Roll
Nature Boy Buddy Rogers? Rock and Roll, I'm shutting the door on. They cannot come in.
Interesting. Well, then I'm not letting Nature Boy Buddy Rogers in.
Wow.
You know who I'm letting in, though?
Who?
Gorgeous George.
Okay, that's fair.
Gorgeous George was the original Ian Entertainment.
Midnight
Biggest
Express.
television star in 1950.
You got, that's what I'm saying. You let the Rock and Roll Express in, you got to let the Midnight Express in.
Interesting. Right. And then the next thing you know, the Hardy Boys are in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody else. Yeah, that's interesting.
Kevin
All right.
Sullivan. That's a good one, 802.
Oh, that's painful.
Put the Pharaoh on the spot.
That's painful. I'm going to have to go with no.
B40 says Conrad Thompson. We would let him in, but he can't fit through the
He
fucking
can't fit
door.
through the door. He's too busy eating a big
All right,
bite.
guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We've got about
Conrad Thompson? That was good, pretty good. It's
pretty funny.
I like that.
got about 9 minutes. Got about a minute commercial break. I'd ask you, please, I want to read your comments. We want to send final respects to Dan Marotti.
Sure.
If you could share your thoughts about Dan Marotti, I'd like to read them on air for the last final minutes after this commercial break.
Sounds good.
So please, guys, start sharing your thoughts and your memories of the late Dan Marotti.
And we'll see you in a second.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen here on Out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, Long Island. So I'm going to start reading what you guys got to say, one at a time. Maria Davis, yes, Dan and I had our differences, but when someone passes away, it leaves an impact. Rip Dan Marotti. Fester Hoghead, I saw the Iron Sheik first on Dan Marotti's MWF before I even knew who he was. Thank you, Marotti. B40, I'm sorry for trolling Dan during the height of the Thursday Night Wars. Jason Moaning, Dan seemed good-hearted and meant well. Phil Desiree.
DeCesare. I just love his
Thank you,
his last
Dan.
name.
Just as you did for me on Earth, I hope you leave a light on for me where you are now.
That's cool.
Davio. Dan had a family and friends. My God, grant them peace during this difficult time.
Amen.
Rick Howard. Dan reunited Demolition. That was huge.
Wow. Nice. Okay.
ESO. If it wasn't for Dan feuding with Tony Atlas, I would never have found Monte and the Pharaoh.
Well, there you go.
Rick B. I had fun and met a lot of great folks in the chats in Boston Wrestling videos. Can you guys bring Cena Senior on and ask him how he can continue the channel?
Okay.
I think so, Rick. I
Yeah.
can reach out to him.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of state of mind he's in right now. It's probably not the time, but
Right.
I certainly can do that with no problem at all.
Cool.
Anything for you, brother. James Splawn. Oh, my God. I can't believe he passed.
Yeah.
Loose Cannon. Dan, I respect your passion for wrestling and happy you did what you loved. Peace, brother. Jacus. Dan Marotti did more for some of the longtime veteran wrestlers than some of the companies they previously worked for. He was all about keeping the guys who paved the way working. He adored wrestling. So I'll address this. Julian Arness.
Oh, my favorite.
Why couldn't God have taken the Pharaoh? So
Wow.
there's times for funny jokes
Wow.
and stuff like that, Julian. But you want to talk about disrespecting the memory of Dan Marotti? There you go. That's exactly the point. You were the big defender of him, but when the time of need, when the guy passes away, it's nothing like disrespecting him. So congratulations, Julian. You did a great job. Jamie Splawn. I liked him, and he had a lot of knowledge. Griswold. Rip Dan. I give you credit. He knew the classic wrestling events, dates, and the pay-per-view of the WWF down to the T. Could name the whole card right off the rip. Phil says, not a good joke. No, Phil, it's not a good joke.
Something tells me I probably beat that Arness guy up back in 6th grade or something, and he's still mad. You know?
I just, whatever, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
All right, waiting for more comments, guys. Pharaoh, you want to keep this going while we get some?
Just, the fans are fantastic. Everybody is showing their true colors, and,
Luce says 1 bonehead out of 50 ain't bad.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. Thank you for that.
AAA, we do not wish death on anyone. Yes, lousy comment. I agree.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Because, there's a time and a place for everything, but apparently school's in session over there, so.
Jackus says, don't wish death on anyone.
Yeah.
Rotten thing to say, Julian.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Here we go. 802. Most of the people I talked to in the chat and Boss of Wrestling chat, Dan and I had our words. He was never rude, and I was rude. I'm sure, so no bad words, Dan. Thanks everything you did for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, is Tony Atlas okay? Rick, I talked to Tony when Dan passed. Very hard to gauge how Tony was feeling.
Right.
I could tell you, between us both, that it shook us up a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't. Again, I thought about.
I mean, to
he
be
had
very
kids,
honest, right now,
From what I
I'm
understand,
still blown away by that incredibly stupid comment. I didn't think anybody could be that dumb, during a moment like this to just be that clueless. But I've always been impressed with that particular person's idiocy. It's just anyway.
Kurt Fox, I learned so much from Dan and Tony. I watched every episode. They came here, love and light. PJ, hey man, how are you? I didn't know Dan, but he was a big part of wrestling. It will be a big loss.
Yeah.
802, long live the Pharaoh. Yard Ape in the house.
Thank you, 802. What's up, Yard Ape?
Julian Arness. Either way, let's be real. Why does everything change when someone dies? When he was alive, most were here criticized Dan. Nonstop. I supported Dan. So can I answer that one?
What?
I'll answer that.
You're a hero now because you're trying to make up for your
I'll
stupid comment? You're an idiot.
I'll answer that.
I mean, come on.
So again, if we were to come on the show
guy.
and turn around and say,
Well, you want us to blast him?
No, but no.
I mean, what is wrong
that's
with
not
this
that's
idiot?
that's not the point. The point is this: is that whatever arguments we had, we both felt. We felt one way. He felt another.
Right.
Everybody knows in life there's no black and white. There's like lots of gray.
Yeah.
And in life, people choose sides.
Right.
So, Julian, the people that were on this show were choosing the Monte The Pharaoh side. And the people that went to Boston Wrestling chose the Boston side.
Yeah.
And some people just enjoyed
Like
the
both.
back and forth.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter, things do change. Because you're heartless if you don't feel for a man's family. You don't feel for a man who all he wanted to do was entertain people and to pass away at such a young age. So things do change when people pass away. Doesn't mean that I personally liked him. I didn't know him.
Right.
I know him from his dealings with people that I was dealing with. But things do change, man, because guess what? You can still dislike someone and feel bad that something happened to him. Right? There's levels.
I can even say after his comment wishing death on me that I'm impressed with his, the fact that he just loves to hate the Pharaoh. That's fine. I respect that. And if God forbid anything happened to Julian on this, I would feel bad.
And again,
does that make me a phony? No. It means I don't like when you talk shit about me, but if God forbid anything happened to you, I wouldn't be pleased, my friend.
Griswold asks...
So come on, bro. Get a grip.
Have you guys heard from Marty J? Griswold, I spoke about it earlier. Marty called me the day after Dan passed. He wanted to know what happened. I didn't really know what happened. I just told him what I had heard. Marty was still in the hospital. He sounds fantastic.
Great. That's very encouraging.
Fantastic.
Very encouraging.
So we're out of time. I appreciate you guys with your comments.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Our prayers go out to the Marathi family.
For sure.
Our prayers go out to the friends of Dan Marotti
For sure.
and the fans of Dan Marotti.
For sure. Yeah.
And I'll leave it with this and then send us out. Yardy says something good. Says
What you got?
Dan loved to bury sunglasses at night.
Yeah, and we had a ball with sunglasses at night.
Absolutely.
I mean, he gave us awesome artillery. I mean, we were everything he would say, we would find a way to make it work. You know, so
Rick says
it was all in good
classy
jousting.
show.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick.
Send us out, Pharaoh. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. And again, keep the Marotti family in your prayers, and we'll see you next Thursday. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh, and thank you guys all for sharing this hour with us. Rest in peace, Dan Marotti. You brought way more good to this game than bad, obviously. And you too, Julian. Hey, maybe someday we'll be friends. Who the heck knows? You know, life is too short. Later.